G'day, brother.
Right.
I'm from Australia. I can't understand what's going on up there in UK. I think any community I hear with the guys would be strung up by their balls. I don't understand how they like operated for so long. They're Pakistani, so I guess something cultural.
You'll find a link to the information box down below.
But the thing is this, yeah.
Everybody.
I think 70% of grooming gangs in the UK are white. Yeah. If you want to use this definition. There's people in all societies and all communities who do despicable, horrible things. Why they're focusing on one particular demographic, I don't understand it.
Well, I don't think that's what's happening. I mean, look, I think that's a misnomer, that stat, because you could define it any way, right? But this is very clearly a specific group doing this, and like this sort of thing happened in Australia. There was a Muslim gang that did it. Not Muslim, I shouldn't say that. There's young guys who happened to be from Muslim families that weren't good Muslims, obviously, but it was actually dealt with very quickly by the whole community. But you know what I mean? There was a bit of racism as well, but mainly got dealt with. The guys got jail sentences.
Look, in Islam, they would be executed, so it's clearly nothing to do with Islam.
No.
Look, it's very simple. People who are supposed to care for these girls, care for these girls. Simple.
It just seems like a proxy for the racist people to have a go. To me, like...
Do you know how
many
members of the EDL convicted child sex offenders?
Yeah. That's right.
And these were all going, oh, Sharia law and all this, and EDL marches, and yet they were sex offenders. Hiding in plain sight.
Well, I think it looks political too. It looks like it's very involved with the Labor Party. Looks like whoever was doing it was quite...
No. Here's the thing, you see. Everyone thought... Reform voters were under the impression, because their algorithm told them everyone was voting Reform, that they were going to sweep the election. And Nigel Farage was going to be Prime Minister. And I was just in their little fantasy world. It doesn't matter who is in charge.
What do you think of Tommy Robinson, though? Because I'm of the opinion that the way you treat people, say, at the lower end of your society, because contempt of court for a defamation trial is really pushing it, especially 18 months. I'm not a fan of him, don't get me wrong, but he's a working class guy who's been... really gone through the ringer. If you watch the video, there's plenty of evidence of the kid was just as bad.
He's a Zionist stooge. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And he owes a massive apology to the white working class for all the...
But that's what I mean. Like,
imagine this, right? Imagine this, right? You make this big announcement, you need money for your defense in court, and you raise all these legal fees, and then you plead guilty.
I didn't know that one.
Oh, you only need money if you're fighting the case. Yeah? If you plead guilty, yeah. Why would you raise money for that? Yeah? So, and to me, he's a hypocrite. And I'll explain why. Because he says in one breath, it isn't Muslims who are the problem. I grew up in Luton. Some Muslims are my best friends. Blah, 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 blah. I got a black friend. That's what racists say. Right? Anyway.
But that's what non-racists say too. Let's be real, that's a trope. Non-racists say it too. I've got plenty of Muslim friends. I've got Turkish friends. I'm Greek.
I know. Just listen. Okay. So he says in one breath, it's not Muslims who are the problem. It's Islam that is the problem. The political ideology of Islam is the problem. Muslims are fine. I know good Muslims and whatever. Islam is the problem.
Where did he get that from? That's nonsense. But where did he get that from? I know that, but where did that come from?
What he said, he basically, this is his flex, isn't it? That he's basically saying he grew up in Luton with Muslims, so he knows some good lads who are Muslims and whatever. But it's Islam is the problem, not Muslims. So this is his one breath, yeah. But then in another breath, when it comes to the grooming gangs, now it's not Islam because it can't be Islam because all the things to do with grooming is against Islam. The punishment in Islam is unaliving for this particular crime. So these groomers, their actions have nothing to do with Islam. This is Muslims. So what is it, Tommy? Is it Muslims or is it the political ideology of Islam? You can't have both. Or are you just trying to say it's everything, but you're lying in one point and lying in another point?
But are you giving him too much credit, like as in intelligence-wise, that he can keep his thoughts together under pressure? It seems to me that the kid's cracking down, he's cracking up, it doesn't make any sense. Because how do you separate Islam from what does that even? I don't understand this. Islam and Muslim to me is the same thing. Well, I'm Muslim who believes in Islam.
One second. Somebody in the chat says, I'm jealous of Tommy. He's in jail, mate. Oh, why would I be jealous, man? Didn't his wife leave him in that? Why would I be jealous?
Oh, that's horrible. It's horrible. I don't like what happened to him. I think, he played a dangerous game and he's got both sides against him.
Look. He owes a massive apology to the white working class. Simple as that.
But he doesn't represent the white working class.
No, but he's conned the white working class. The EDL are the white working class that he created, this phenomenal street movement that he created. They were the white working class. It was every skank of every street corner.
But where did the British get off in cracking the shits at immigration? The biggest spreading of their empire, 200 different countries are in, and now they're cracking it that it's coming back. I don't understand that.
We see these people in the chat. Reform is coming.
The UK is going downhill quickly economically. Like, they shouldn't be fighting over this crap. Do you know what I mean? Like, the US is about to do a number on the whole of Europe, including the UK. Pull back to Greenland. Take all the businesses away. Take City of London apart. And you guys are fighting about. These grooming gangs, I don't understand. They should just arrest all of them. Have they arrested? What's the story? Is this rehashed? Or are they not arrested?
They have to be arrested, isn't it, if they're doing this thing? It's a crime.
It's a crime.
Do you know what I mean?
This is the other thing, is people say, why didn't the Muslims handle it? Well, hang on a minute. Do you handle the organised crime around your streets? Do you go out about like with the baseball bat? People don't. This kid went crazy down the road the other day. I just moved in the neighbourhood. Nice neighbourhood. He had on ice or something. Now, I've gone out. My daughter said, Daddy. I said, no, relax. I'm all right. And I can't really see. It's not really my fight. But so many people are scared, There was 15 people watching one person and no one wanted to intervene. They called the cops and waited, right? And then the cops came and they did the job. And people think that, these guys obviously were powerful in their community to cover it up. And so to expect a normal citizen to kind of intervene is a lot.
Look. The biggest thing to come out of this should have been, how can we neglect all these girls? How can all these girls have been in care? What's causing this situation, the breakdown of families where these girls are finding themselves in these institutions when nobody cares about them?
This
is the 21st century, yeah? Yeah, 21st century. And we've got an industrial scale neglect of girls, English girls. Why?
It's happening in Australia too. It's cross-cultural. It's not.
Why though? Why are these girls being abandoned by them? The people who are supposed to
I can say it to you because there's no feminists on the panel. It's the women took over. Like, women took over parenting, and they've sidelined fathers. They've sidelined tough discipline. And if you want to be a man and raise your children, you have to really exert that part of you and say, listen, fathers raise this.
I'll explain something, right? People say to me, why was it white girls? Why was it white girls? Why was it not Asian girls? Don't get me wrong, there are Asian girls that do get crime. Why is it predominantly white girls? Do you know why? Nobody cares about them. And predators, scumbags will prey on the vulnerable. Yeah? Now, why was it not Muslim girls? Because Muslim families care about their daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more fear too, because there's going to be an uncle somewhere that'll put you in the ground.
Yeah, and second thing, these groomers, if you look at the stories, they started off as boyfriends. Yeah? They start off as boyfriends for the girl, giving her gifts, and then they move on, and then they interview other people, and then it becomes what it becomes. So the girl thinks that this guy's her boyfriend, right? She can pass this guy off to, even if she has a family, if they say she's not in care, she can say, yeah, that's my boyfriend. Like, it's normal. But a Muslim girl can't do that. because our daughters don't have boyfriends, and our sons don't have girlfriends. If you're practicing Islam, if you're following the teachings of Islam, yeah. So a groomer couldn't hide in plain sight with a Muslim girl, but with an English girl, yeah, even at that age, 14, 15, oh, he's got a little boyfriend, oh, it's cute. Yeah.
See, you bring up an interesting point,
But
right?
this is why I say, just finish.
Oh no, I just want to jump in on this because I'll forget my thought.
Go on.
Yeah. Now you can have a very strict culture like many Muslims do, and there's others, and that's one thing. But if you have a freer culture with your children and your daughters can go and date, it's incumbent upon the parents and the family to really prepare them, teach them, watch out for them, find out who they're seeing. Do you know what I mean? It's not, I don't adhere to these conservative kind of things, but my daughter's about, I won't say an age here, but she's of age, and we talk all the time, and she determines she doesn't want to date. It's not worth it. She's allowed to do pretty much whatever she wants. However, she's prepared with what's good, what's bad, and she knows she can come to me or her uncles or her cousins. Her brother's more conservative. He grew up close with Muslims, actually, Afghanis. So he's very conservative, and he watches. And I don't really get to invite. I say, look, that's your right if you want to push. But as a father, I sort of hang back and just tell her to watch out for this, watch out for that, and get to know what she's doing. You can't just let the kids go. Even if you want to let them be free, you can't just let them go. You have to monitor them. And I think some families, they just let the girls do what they want, and that's the guys that get in there and they can do what they want with these girls because they're not smart.
See, I'm going to make a claim now. If I go back to when I was at school, yeah, I would say based upon statutory rape, 80% of guys who lost their virginity raped the girl that they lost their virginity to, because they would have been 15, 14 in school. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
So, but this was like, no, me personally, no. I was 18, and it was a different story. I was in Greece and whatever. But I'm just talking about people in school, right? So this idea that this is just some kind of problem amongst certain communities, it's not. When it gets highlighted, of course. And if you look at the reason why it was classed as racist, I'll explain why. These girls were hanging around places in the nighttime. Yeah, and these just so happen to be kebab shops, takeaways, taxi ranks, where the predominant people who would be working those particular areas would be Muslims. Yeah? And thus the only predators around would be Muslims.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be, and there only be predators around too.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
pretty much
This is where people get it twisted. I think those people were scum. I would like to see Sharia law acted upon them. Yeah? These girls were
or just the English law properly, put them away for 15 years. It's a long time.
No, just execute them.
This execute's just as good. But that's the thing. What I don't understand is there is, how I say it's a very bad racism there in the Britain. If it were in Australia, there would be parts of the community that would say Islam, or Muslims, but most would say Pakistanis. Right? They just say it's a Pakistani group. They wouldn't really equate the religion, they'd equate the culture.
Listen, these people are so stupid. After 9/11, they were attacking Sikhs.
Don't Sikhs fight other Sikhs who wants to fight the Muslims?
He's brown, he's wearing something on his head, must be a Muslim.
It's funny because in Australia, when I was young, being Greek was always you're going to cop it, right? And now they think we're the same. So the Aussies think we're the same. So they'll get really racist to you and ask you your name, and then I've kept the ethnic name. So I give them an ethnic name, and they're like, oh, I'm not racist, They realise I'm not British. It's really funny.
If I give you Tikanis, you understand, yeah?
Yeah. Kala.
Kala, okay. What's your name?
What's that?
What's your name?
Evstratios is my Greek. I'll give you that one. They won't find that. No one can find it.
Stratios. Is that Stephen?
No, that's what they changed it to. But I like it.
It's like Yorgos. Yorgos is George.
Very bad. Is it very bad in the UK, or is it just a media thing? Or what's it? It sounds like the place is falling apart if you're watching the media. The UK.
Look, people say this. It's always been like this. It's not changed. whether Labour are in charge, whether Conservatives are in charge, whether it's Boris, whether it's Rishi, whoever. It's just the same. It doesn't change. I grew up here. I'm 51, yeah, and I grew up in South Wales. Then I grew up in Manchester, and then I moved back to Wales, and I went to London. It's just the same. There's no difference. It really isn't. Crime is crime. The only thing is more technological now, maybe more brazen now. Yeah, like for example, people going into shops now and just filling bags up and walking out. It's like I don't even get that. You know, in Tesco's and security guards.
That happened the other day in a shopping centre. Actually, 5 guys with knives that took out a whole jewelry store really quickly, and it was on the news. But I was watching, going, okay, that hasn't happened before. You know, that has never happened before. Not like in the old days with
the in the chat only changed because of migrants. Yeah, I grew up in South Wales. It was a white council estate. Yeah, I lived in Stockport. The crime was all committed by white council estate kids. Yeah, go to Wigan, go to Wesley Mains, go to white council areas, and the crime is committed by white people.
Predominantly migrants, new arrivals work hard and they study and they want to get ahead and they're more in tune with the opportunity they have in somewhere like the UK or Australia. That's what I see. You know,
one second. Someone in the chat, Robert Sparks. Have you been to Cwmbran? We've been to Cwmbran, West Pontnewydd. That's where I grew up. In West Pontnewydd. That's where I grew up. Yeah. And I used to go watch in Newport County back then. And yeah, it was white council, mate.
Yeah, I mean, like, I saw a whole group of Afghani migrants in a town, and you know, every one of them work hard. You know, on the weekends, working. All they were doing was working.
I'm just dealing with the chat minute. Someone says go to Aberystwyth, go to Merthyr. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Look, people are people. You know, subhanallah. This is a beautiful thing about Islam.
Can I just say the illegally thing doesn't happen in Australia much because we shove people on islands and we lock them up on remote islands in the Pacific Ocean if they come here illegally. It's known. We get visa jumpers, but Australia doesn't have a problem with illegal migration because we have bastard governments.
There's no such thing as illegal immigration in the UK. These people coming on boats are not illegal immigrants because there's no legal way to do so. There's no legal way to seek asylum. You can't go to France and say, I want to seek asylum in Britain. You have to arrive in Britain and then seek asylum. So there's no such thing as legal asylum seekers because there's no process unless you're Ukrainian. If you're Ukrainian, then there's no way.
Straight in. Yeah, straight in.
If you're brown, there's no legal way you can come here. No, there's no legal asylum seeking way.
Well, Australia actually, there's no other country that's done it like Australia because we will literally grab the boats and tow them to another place. And then the boats used to fall apart. So we bought these really advanced life-saving vessels which will fit 20 people, put enough water in, shove the people in and float it back to Indonesia. And if people actually arrived, they'd be removed to an island completely against every rule known to man, absolutely horrific, cut off the doctors who wouldn't even be allowed to speak. They send doctors there, but they're not allowed to speak, punishable by jail. And the most horrific craps happened there. And then what they would do, there was also a lot of bad people there too, though, some of them. And if they couldn't verify a guy's whereabouts, they'd stay on this island. But sometimes they would just not really be able to find records, so they'd stay on the island. One guy, his father was there for 12 years. 12 years. And then he finally got out and then he settled in Australia, got visas and all that. They couldn't find his details. And then they'll say, your family can leave, but the man...
But you're an Aussie. You're immigrants.
Yeah, I'm disgusted by the policy. A lot of people are, but...
No, you are immigrants.
Yeah, the whole country's
immigrants. Of prisoners and convicts.
Yeah, but the whole country, apart from the First Nations, everyone's an immigrant here. But there's people that don't...
Who are you to tell other people they can't come there to that massive country, continent you have, with so much space?
Yeah, so much space, and we need it.
But you're Greek.
Yeah, Greek.
What are you doing there?
Well, you just got to assume I don't agree with this policy, but it's bipartisan.
What are you doing in Australia?
I was born here, but I don't think I'll stay here for much longer. Okay. Once the kids get older, I'll probably go to America. It's probably where it's at. Trump's America. He's regenerating the place, mate. Look at him. If he gets some of those policies through and they boom, That's where the money will be. We'll go there instead. Certainly won't be UK. Maybe Ukraine will boom when BlackRock get in there. Put some billions in.
Bro, I'm gonna let you go. Yeah,
Yeah, all the best, mate. Nice
you
talking
take
to
care.
you.
Yasu.
Brother. Yasu.